Well, hey there, my name is Jonathan Harper and welcome to Clare Assembly Tech Training. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to turn everything on and off in the sound booth. Let's get started. Alright, so welcome to our sound and tech booth at Clare Assembly. I'm just going to quickly walk you through how to turn everything on. So the acronym that you want to remember for doing this is the word SCARS. SCARS. That's S-C-A-R-S. S-C-A-R-S. And so the S, the first S, stands for soundboard. Okay, so the very first thing you do when you come in is you're going to want to turn on, and then the next one is this sequence switch over here. Make sure that's on. And when you turn both of those switches on, the board will light up, telling you that it is on. You'll hear a little fan going off inside, and that's just telling you that everything's working and it's all talking. Boom, there you go. It lights up. You're good. Okay, so that is the S in SCARS. The next is C, and that is computers. So the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn on all of our computers. We actually have 3 separate machines, 3 separate computers in the sound booth. And I know it can look a little bit overwhelming and confusing because we technically have 5 different monitors in here, but we only have 3 computers. So the first computer that we're going to turn on is this tower right here, this HP tower right here. So all you're going to do to turn it on is you're going to hit the gray power button on the top right corner. So when I turn that on, what that's going to do is it's going to boot up these 2 monitors right here. And these monitors are actually touch screen. So if you want to touch them, I mean, basically picture it like a giant iPad, you can. But there's also a mouse right here that I enjoy using, especially when I'm logging in. So we'll get to those monitors in just a second, but now I'm going to walk you through how to turn on the rest of the computers. So the next computer that we're going to turn on is this computer right here. This fires our ProPresenter software, which is used for our presentation. So everything you see on the screens, graphics, lyrics for music, scripture, videos, it's all being fired from this computer. So the way to turn this one on is just to press the power button on this tower on the top left corner. So I press the power button right there, it lights up, and it's nice and blue. Alright, the next computer that we are going to turn on is probably the trickiest to turn on, but once you've done it a couple times, it's not really that difficult. We are going to turn on our Mac Mini. So the Mac Mini is actually underneath this desk right here, and it is mounted to the bottom of this desk. And the way to turn it on is you're going to look for kind of this gray silver box mounted to the bottom of the desk, and that is the Mac Mini. So you're going to reach your hand to the back right corner of the Mac Mini, and you're going to feel a little round button on the back right corner of it. In the little round button, it's not protruding from the actual body of this Mac Mini. You can feel the circular circumference of the button. So you're just going to press it once and it'll fire up and it'll turn on. You'll see a little white light and you'll hear that chime. So the next step in turning everything on is the A. So the word is SCARS, right? Our acronym is SCARS. So the A stands for access. Basically, that just means we need access to the computers, so we're going to log in. So I always start on the far right and work my way over to the left. So just a reminder, the far right computer is the computer that is used to run the sound. So I'm going to log into the sound computer, and then I work my way to the left and I'm going to log into the ProPresenter computer, and then finally I'm going to work my way to the far left and I'm going to log into our Mac Mini, which is used for our lighting and our live stream. So the R in SCARS stands for remotes. So we actually have a drawer in one of our plastic drawers tower that we keep all of our remotes that turns on separate things. And so you're first going to pick up this, it's a Zap brand remote, and it's used to turn on the wireless outlets that are on the stage. So what you're going to do is you're just going to work your way down the on column on the left side of the remote. And you're going to start from the left side of the stage. So if I'm facing the stage, I'm going to start on my left, the left side of the stage, and you're going to work your way to the right. And you're just going to work your way down the remote. So number 1 turns on the left overhead lights. So I'm going to point it on the far left side of the stage. Number 2 turns on the left speaker. So I'm going to point it directly at the left speaker. You should see a little blue light appear at the bottom of the speaker. Number 3 turns on our wireless mics and our wireless ears. That is directly inside the drum booth. It's pretty much behind the American flag on the stage, so you can point it right at the American flag. Number 4 turns on the far right speaker, so you can point it at that speaker. And then number 5 turns on our lights on the right side of the stage. So you can kind of point it at the right side of the stage directly behind the TV screen. And that turns on a lot of the devices that are on our stage. If you turned everything else on correctly, you should start to hear some fans powering up the equipment. The second remote that we're going to grab is the Sanyo TV Remote. So we're going to turn on a total of 3 TVs. I know if you're looking at the stage you only see 2, but we actually have a confidence monitor mounted on our back wall that is the same brand. So I just start at the far left and I turn it on by pressing the power button and I point it at the TV and it should show up. You should see a green light in the bottom left corner. It will turn blue. I do the same over on the right side. That'll turn on that TV. And then finally I turn on the confidence monitor, which is located on the back wall of the sound booth. And you want to point the remote on the bottom left corner of the TV. That's where the sensor is. So if you turn it on, it should be very obvious. The brand will appear, Sanyo, and you know you did it right. So the final remote is to turn on the projectors behind our projector screen. So as you can tell, I'm on stage now and I walked behind our projector screen. And so this is the remote that we use. It's the white one. And I just press the power button and I point it at both of these Optima projectors. So one at a time, you'll see a blue light that appears, and then I'm going to do it again, and you'll see a blue light that appears. Lastly, I do bring this Zap Remote up on the stage. This is the one that controls all the wireless outlets, and 95% of the time it works. It turns everything on, but sometimes I'm not able to turn something on, and so it just saves me a trip from going back if I have to. So those are the remotes. Alright, so the last S in SCARS, our acronym SCARS, stands for software. So the final thing I like to do when I'm turning everything on is just to open up the software that the volunteers are going to be using that Sunday morning for church. So the first thing I do is I make sure that the sound computer is ready to go. So the software that we open up is Universal Control. Now the app, it sort of looks like a blue power button, and so all you need to do, it's kind of near the top left screen. You just double click it, and then it'll show up this Universal Control window, and you'll see a picture that looks similar to the soundboard to your right, the physical copy of the soundboard, but this is a digital copy. So I'm just going to double click that picture, and what it will do is it'll make a digital version of what's going on the soundboard. And we like to have a digital version of the soundboard just because I think it's easier for volunteers to use, and you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the soundboard more, I think, digitally. So that is what I do with this computer. So like I said, this computer is our ProPresenter computer. It only runs ProPresenter, so we are going to open up ProPresenter. The way you do that is you go over to your left side of the screen. You're going to see an orange icon that says ProPresenter underneath it. So you double click that, and it'll take a second, but you'll see the ProPresenter logo on the screen. It slowly starts to open up everything. And like I mentioned, ProPresenter, it's basically like PowerPoint on steroids. So if you're familiar with PowerPoint, that's what ProPresenter is, but it can do so much more, and it is super, super powerful. So now you're going to see it, it's open, and what I always like to do is I like to maximize it so it takes up the entire monitor. So you do that just by hitting this square in kind of the top right of the window of ProPresenter, and then boom, ProPresenter is open. It is ready for volunteers to come in and use. Alright, so finally this computer is used for our lighting software and also our live streaming. So the first thing I like to do is open up the lighting software. So we use what's called LightKey, and it is the app at the bottom of the dock. It looks like a disco ball. It's like a blue and red disco ball. So I just double click it, and it'll pop up. And I like to click the Clare assembly folder on the bottom left of the screen. So if I click that Clare assembly folder, it's like a project folder, and it'll pull up our presets for our lighting. Make sure you double click that folder so that it'll open up. Lastly, I like to turn on our board that controls our lighting, that physically controls the lighting. So that's going to be over to your right, because actually, like I mentioned, this computer is run by a different volunteer. We have a volunteer for lighting, and we have a volunteer for live stream. So the lighting person is actually going to be sitting over here at this board that controls our lighting. So the way you do that is there's just a little square button on the back left corner of the board. You press it in, and boom, the board lights up, and it is ready to rock and roll and fire lights. Okay, so you've turned everything on. You had church service, God moved, He was glorified, this is great, and now you need to turn everything off. Okay, so the way to turn everything off is to take our acronym SCARS and actually do it in reverse. Okay, and I wish it was a cool word, like if you said it backwards it meant something different, but the best way that I can think of saying it in reverse is SRAX. Okay, SRAX. It doesn't mean anything, it's just to help you understand. So the first thing we want to do is we want to close all the software that people were using on their computers. And remember, many of the volunteers running their stations, they know how to do this, so this might already have been done. Okay, so close all the software. Secondly, we want to take our remotes and we want to power off everything that we had originally turned on. Right, so you want to take your Zap wireless outlet remote and go through that off column, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the off column, and point it at the correct spots and turn everything off. So you're going to start at the far left of the stage, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and work your way across the stage, and that'll help you. The next thing is we want to shut down all of the computers. Okay, so you can either go to the bottom left corner of the two PCs, the two PC computers. So those are the sound computer and the ProPresenter computer. You can hit the little window icon, then click on the power icon, and you can tell the computer to either go to sleep or to shut down. Either of those is fine, so you can do either of those. With the Mac, all you need to do is to go to the Apple icon in the top left corner of the Mac, select that icon, and there should be an option to tell it to either shut down or go to sleep, and either of those are fine. Also make sure that you turn off the TVs, so you can get that Sanyo black remote and just point it at each TV. Remember, there's 3 and turn each of them off. Please don't forget the confidence monitor on the back wall behind you. Turn that one off as well. So now we're going to turn off our projectors. So it's very simple. You just take your remote, point it at the projector, and press the power button. You're going to have to do that twice because you'll see something show up on the screen, power off, and you're going to be reading it backwards because it's projecting that way. So just press the power button one more time. I have to do it again. So press it once, press it twice, it'll turn off. And then do that with the same, do that same with the other projectors. So press it once, press it twice, and you turned it off. Also remember to turn off this camera. You do it by just hitting this switch on the top right corner. If the screen is on, then that means that obviously the camera is on. And so you just want to move this switch to where it clicks, and you want to move it towards you. So I'm going to demonstrate how to turn it on so then you can turn it off. So I'm going to move the switch away from me. It's going to turn the camera on. You'll hear a little click like that. The screen will light up. Okay, it's all working. So to turn it off, I'm going to go to this switch. It's kind of on this round knob thing, this switch right here, and I'm going to push it towards me, towards the back of the camera. And that'll power off the camera. So the second to last thing to do is to turn off the soundboard. Now it's really crucial that you made sure to turn everything off in the remotes category because you want to turn off the speakers first. If you turn off the soundboard first, you might get some popping, and it's just not good for the life and longevity of our equipment. So what you want to do is you want to turn off the sequence switch first. So just flip that. Now wait for the lights to power off on the actual soundboard itself. It'll take just a second. Lights are off, and then you can turn off the orange switch. The final step is to listen. Listen, use your ears, use your eyes. If you've turned everything off correctly, especially using your ears, if you turn everything off correctly, this room, the sanctuary, should be quiet. If you hear any fans, any type of white noise going on, you've probably missed something, and something is still on. I can't tell you how many times that I've shown up, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and I get here to church, and I walk into the sanctuary, and I still hear a fan. That means that some of our equipment has been running for 24 hours, which it's not great for the life of the equipment. So let's be good stewards of what God has given us, God has entrusted us with, and make sure that we completely turn everything off. The great way to do that is to listen. Do I hear a fan? Do I hear a white noise? Thank you so much for watching this video, and please remember to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, and we'll try to get to them as soon as possible. Have a great day.